Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. Good morning, everybody. August 6th. Feeling a lot better today. Ready to get into it. We have jobless claims today. So let's just look at the overnight action first. Volume profile. So yesterday, was incredibly range bound. Of course, we had to move up in the overnight session, as is tradition, but then just nothing. Basically, traders just stopping each other out all day. Quite a mess. Overnight, we move up, as is tradition, but this time we kind of retraced it. They made another attempt, and since then we are lower, so we are below yesterday's close. Right, that is in the E-mini. Over here in treasuries, of course, we had a big move down. Now I was saying, I think that a lot of this is going to retrace. I thought it was going to happen yesterday, but here tonight, coming back up in an pretty well. Let's see. Yeah, they're equalizing. They're not quite back yet. News Squawk just talking about the numbers that we are expecting here. I should just turn that off until we're ready. Okay. Anyways, oil also having a big day yesterday, but retracing it. So lots of movement, but not a lot of anything conclusive. Gold continues to march higher. Now again with gold, it was interesting. Pretty strong up move, and they retraced it. But now overnight, quite a bit higher. And it looks like that the early traders are looking to just pump it out of there again. And then, of course, we come over here and look at the dollar. The dollar continues to be weak, now below 93. There was a little bit of a bounce, but overall, the dollar index is low. I mean, we're definitely like falling now. And notice here with the euro, the euro is not 100% a mirror of the euro. Yeah. See, the euro is about as strong as ever was, but the dollar is weaker. So its other currencies are also making it come down. We should also mention the spreads. Yesterday there was some steepening, flattening. No, that's steepening. Now we're flattening again. Up is steepening, down is flat. Okay. And you can see it across the curve. Okay. So, that's where we at. Come over here and start the text-to-speech. Checking on you. When there you are. Everybody was asking about you yesterday. Are you running a few minutes behind this morning, or are you behind a bagel? I've been running a few minutes behind almost every day for the past few weeks, because it used to be that it would be like 6:15. I would be there starting it. And then I started reading a lot more in the morning, and so that kind of pushed me back to like 6:20. But now it's like 6:25 a lot of days, even if I'm trying to be fast. So I'm not quite sure what I got to do. It really always comes down to how long of a shower I take. Toyota profits sink 74% on a 40% drop in revenue reports. MarketWatch, that's a big drop. Tennessee helps produce cars, but I'm not sure if they manufacture car parts for Toyota. I also heard that they were moving some of their operations out to Mexico. Yeah, let's turn on the Texas speech there. Well, we got these jobless claims coming up here, man. Again, we are looking for a reading of 1,415,000 versus a previous reading of 1,434,000. So we're looking for slightly less jobless claims than last time around. With continuing claims, we're looking for continuing claims of 16,720,000 versus a previous reading of 17,018,000. So they're expecting some good numbers here. We recall that the ADP number yesterday, the ADP jobs number was not very good at all. I don't know if that's going to lead to more jobless claims. In fact, you might see, I don't know. We're going to probably see some really funky stuff with the jobless claims soon. I don't think that you will see it in this week's report. But maybe in next week's report, you might see something where a lot of people drop off because um, uh, they just can't get the claims anymore, right? So be careful if it comes out and the number is incredibly low, I would just ignore it. Yeah, I'll give that note in Equities channel too. Okay, so here's the news. Oops. I muted it. So it's lower than expected, 1,186. And the continuing claims is lower than expected as well. I think I want to, well, so I'm not looking for a ton on this one. If it goes, that is. There we go.
Winston's mom says the reporters who follow Congress around are saying to expect $400 a week in the unemployment. That's the buzz. Maybe an announcement on unemployment extensions on Friday before everyone adjourns.
I don't know. So what I heard was that was the White House's proposal, and they're still arguing over it. But the bigger issue has been that the Democrats have a lot of asks. They have a lot of pet policies that they're trying to get, and they're trying to squeeze the administration for them. But I don't think that they're going to get it. I think that there's a false impression out there that the longer this goes on, the more it hurts Donald Trump. And I really don't think that that's the case because there's just no way you want to start playing the blame game. And you notice that the media hasn't really played the blame game. There hasn't been a whole lot of media over this at all. Why am I over on this screen? Have you noticed that? Like, remember when it was the shutdown? It's like all anybody cared about. Now, yeah, whatever. It's just unemployment. I don't know. Kind of weird, I think. But I think that part of it is that the Democrats don't really want to draw attention to it because they're basically entirely responsible for it. The Republicans put up several bills that would have just extended the jobless claims and they wouldn't do it. So, yeah. So I think that the E-mini could probably make it up to 22. I think I kind of missed that one because I took it in the E-mini. I'll leave an order back there just in case. Okay. So in the Treasuries, 06 half is kind of uh, a critical spot. You notice that they're stacking a little bit there? Just a little bit. Whoa, Kanye West files to appear on Ohio ballots. So he is doing it? I thought he was like not doing it.
Winston's mom says Donald Trump Jr. just may have saved the salmon up in Alaska. He tweeted against that company which was lobbying to mine their most important river for spawning.
He's been tweeting a lot. He has become a powerful tweeter, hasn't he? Wow. So get on the ballot in Ohio, you need 5,000 signatures, and they submitted 15,000. West was reportedly helped by GOP operatives through the petitioning
Winston's mom
company.
says
Let
it's
the
seen
voters
people
decide.
saying
Oh
that
my
Kanye
God.
is working in tandem with the president to divert voters from Biden. I can't figure out how most Biden supporters would move over to Kanye.
Oh, 100%. Think about it. It's just pure demographics. The Donald Trump supporters aren't going to vote for him. Those white suburban, nah, they're not going to vote for Kanye West, right? But the thing is that there's some of those minorities and stuff. Just enough of them vote for Kanye. Yeah, it could make a difference. Note how they're targeting a specific spot too, right? State that's probably pretty close in Ohio. Of the 19 electors listed in West's paperwork in Ohio, 6 of them reportedly have the same address, with several others also reportedly having repeating addresses in the Cleveland area. So it's like, oh, I'll be one of the electors, and his husband and wife are both become listed as electors. This is so silly. I thought that Kanye West basically admitted that it wasn't happening, and what happened? Did Donald Trump come back and say, no, Kanye, it's totally cool. You should do it. It'll help out a lot. And then Kanye was like, okay.
Uzi Knesset says 2020 gonna be the messiest election in history lol.
Oh, it is. You're seeing like in New York and in New Jersey. New York, they still haven't called that primary race. Still. It's going to be a real mess, man. It is. I mean, maybe something happens, and one guy or the other just really starts to clearly run away with it, and election
Winston's
day
mom says
becomes a
there's this
foregone
crazy place in
conclusion.
Florida called The Villages. Have you watched any of those seniors in their tricked out golf carts protesting for or against Trump? Old folks older than me are nuts.
I haven't seen that. But man, you're probably, unless somebody starts to run away with it, you're probably not going to know who wins on election night. And that alone is going to be a disaster, I think.
Uzi Knesset says fun fact about The Villages. Lots of STDs lol.
Oh, really? To me, it makes perfect sense because the older you get, the less willpower you have. So that's kind of a natural consequence. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of scientific evidence out there that some people are just more apt, more prone to doing that. There's risk factors. hmm So the market year was, that was an hour ago. Maybe it doesn't matter.
Uzi Knesset says them old bones be shaken in the village's LMAO.
Yeah. I wonder what that move,
Winston's mom
what that
says Uzi
release does
Knesset, I heard
to.
that also, and I believe it started with Sun City in Arizona. I hope I have that kind of energy if I end up in a nursing home. Lol.
No, I wonder if the jobless claims had an effect on the VIX. $11.86. So that's a good 300,000 less than expected, which is a percentage of the absolute claims is a lot less. But you were talking about something that normally it was like, 10,000 jobless claim difference would have been significant a couple of months ago. Okay. E-mini ready to go for its next leg, apparently. Treasuries maybe suggesting that I could get 04. Should we try it? I'll try it, and if they start doing something funky at 06, I'll. Hmm. Oh, apparently Louder with Crowder went and did um what was it? What did they call his thing? He basically he was arguing that Antifa is a terrorist organization, so Antifa showed up, and apparently there was many attendees. Many attendees hit the floor. And I have to watch that later today.
Uzi Knesset says change my mind.
Change my mind, right? He did the change my mind that Antifa is a terrorist group, and Antifa showed up and behaved poorly. And I'm seeing a lot of tweets about it. Well, normally when they decide to go across a spread, they just go across it. But the moment, they're kind of making me wonder if you will ever get filled at 06. I would still be waiting if I had my order in there. Doesn't look like there's any chance of me getting filled at 12. Like I said, 33.22 is a pretty good target on the E-mini. Probably was a better trade to take it in the E-mini, to be honest. But I saw here in, well, I don't know why I took it in the treasury. I think the thing I was looking at was I just saw a good place to hit into it. Okay, 533. Yeah, it's going through. 2,000 traded, but that's not a ton. Especially since we've already had 1,000 hit back the other way. So that gives me a little bit more confidence that they're going to try and flip down through the spread. And the 30-year is definitely doing it, right? 11 is the seller's line in that one. Okay. I still need to keep an eye on that 06 though. For the moment, it looks fairly balanced at that price. Now, with all of that said, I should note that the dollar index has not been dramatically changed off of this. The 6J is coming down. The euro is moving up, but the euro up move in the euro is very, very gentle. Gold
Sunday
taking
Driver
a
says
hit,
gold
though.
up. Again, platinum is still relatively cheap.
Gold. I mean, gold is up on the day from the overnight, but they took a pretty big hit off of that news. And I don't particularly care what it did before the news. They're down. They dropped a good $10 in gold. And the E-mini is still not to the upside target. The upside target is a little bit more like 33.20. You can see the long market makers gonna get paid on that one. The thing is, over here in the treasuries, I'm not seeing that many shorts get taken off. That's a little bit more, so I think we should take it there. So it's kind of luring. They're kind of building around that area, so I think that it would be appropriate to take it off here and to take the cautious play. 300, yeah, that seems like clear luring. Mm-hmm. I think this is a place where it's probably maybe we want to watch how long they stay offered and bid at '06 and the way that they come across, because there's equal trade going on there. So like the thing is we were up strong. Basically all of the shorts had been washed out. So when this number came out, it was an easy short in the treasury and in the E-mini. Frankly, it was an easy long. We could have taken '06 for sure. Um and probably your reward in the E-mini was better than what you got in the treasury, right? But when we come back to '06, that's pretty balanced. So I don't know how significant the jobless claims is going to be on the treasuries. I think that the treasuries overall just kind of want to move up. But the positioning kind of dictates that probably we should come back to this area, and of course it did in net balance. So I don't know if it can go further. In the E-mini though, they don't appear done. In fact, let me say, if 33.1450 is kind of the seller's line. So if the sellers were able to hold this area and we did turn back down significantly, and then even able to retrace the move from the news in the E-mini,
Uzi Knesset
that would be
says,
so
hey.
bearish. Hey, what? Hey, what?
Uzi Knesset says, hey.
You say you wanted to go further? Is that what the problem is? Oh,
Uzi
yeah.
Knesset says gold is up.
Oh. It's down. It's down on the news. That one is just, I think we'll pull it up here, look at it.
Uzi Knesset says tongue out.
Ooh, actually, oh, where's the, I think we need to make our interval more like 30. Actually need to make it even more than that.
Sunday Driver says you always say, gold is down. But each day it is higher. Lol.
Well, that's because it moves up in the overnight, but it doesn't. There you go. The circle turner, we need to weigh. That's because it always does this stuff overnight, but then when it comes into the regular session, it's like, well, I don't even want to say that there's like a clear trend to it. It looks to me like that it's a lot of traders trading, you know? Traders gonna trade. Right? Like when I look at gold, I don't never see anything that's like, oh, like there's been a fundamental change and people really, really want to buy gold now. Now it's kind of like the trend is up, it continues to be up, and there's a lot of trade in it, and so it stumbles a lot. And whenever we're coming into it, it has stumbled. It's, you know, it was up overnight and then it comes down.
Winston's mom says I have been researching precious metals. Scandium is a rare metal on Earth, although it is much more common in the Sun and other stars. Aircraft manufacturers are particularly interested. Winston's mom says scandium alloyed aluminum materials. Aircraft designers believe use of LSC alloys can reduce aircraft weights by 15% to 20%.
Sunday Driver says I think they make some gun frames out of scandium.
Can reduce aircraft weights by 15 to 20%. Ooh.
Winston's mom says scandium also exhibits exceptional electrical conductivity and heat stabilization qualities, and the largest volume current use is in solid oxide fuel cells.
Need to keep this up. China's digital currency edges closer with the large-scale test by 4 state-owned banks, reports SCMP article. Read here.
Winston's mom says numerous other applications have been identified and are under research, most notably high-intensity lighting, stadium lighting.
Sunday driver says I think aliens showed us the benefits of scandium.
Winston's mom says in high-voltage power transmission and additive layer parts manufacturing, 3D printing.
You can print it? You can 3D print it? UK opinion poll shows UK Conservative Party increasing their lead over Labour from 5 to 8 points. I wonder, though, I'm sure that we have some Brits out there today. Is it because the UK populace is,
Winston's mom says
getting
which
more
aliens,
and more
the
conservative?
Pleiadians or the Arcturians? If it was the Silvermen, then they're probably pranking us.
No.
Sunday driver
One,
says one
maybe.
day, you'll be able to 3D print anything.
Is it because the UK has become more conservative, or is it because they're just trying to get away from Labour? Because before it seemed like that they were mostly just that Labour was crazy. You know what I mean? I'm sure we got a UK guy here today, yeah. Oh, 06.
Sunday driver says I missed it.
Time.
What did UK do?
The Conservatives increased their lead over Labour from 5 points to 8 points in the latest polling from Ipsos. That just makes me think about the U.S. elections and how Donald Trump was pushing for earlier debates
Winston's
yesterday.
mom says Sunday driver, what would you want to print? Have you seen the movie, Lars and the Real Girl?
Everybody was joking that Rudy Giuliani sounded incredibly reasonable there, and I agree. If everybody's going to be voting by mail, then the election is really like significantly earlier. Like by the time that you have the debates, most people will have
Sunday
already
driver
sent their
says
votes
UK.
in.
It's likely BLM and fears of population displacement.
Okay. That's interesting. I know that that's a thing in London, but
Winston's mom says Donald Trump said mail-in ballots are okay for Florida. I mean, come on. Okay in his state but not over in Arizona.
well,
Sunday driver says at Winston's mum I'd like to 3D print a cheap house.
I think his argument, was that in Florida they'll be able to handle it, which is to say that if you get there and on election day, Florida has to wait to give their results because they can't count all of the ballots quickly enough, then then you would be dead wrong, right?
Uzi Knesset says we can handle it, just barely.
Just barely, yeah. I'm more concerned about these things like in New York and New Jersey where they had these runoffs and they still haven't declared a winner. It's been a month.
Uzi Knesset says our Democrat cities get all screwed up with ballot counting every election.
Yeah, and then there's this
Uzi Knesset says naturally, of course.
Yeah.
Sunday driver says mail-in ballots are a terrible idea. That people can't see this makes me convinced that most people can't see consequences of actions.
I don't know. Well, I think that you're on the right track there, Sunday. If we get into it, the reality is that people don't like, it's inconvenient to vote. Is really the main gist of it. Like really think about it. Voting is low, right? Like the majority isn't the statistics usually something like only in a really good election year only 60% of people vote. And why would that be? It's inconvenient. You have to go to the polling place. People don't want, even just going to the polling place apparently is too inconvenient for people. So what do? We let them mail it in. That's more convenient, apparently. That's really what it comes down to. And so, yeah, people support mail-in balloting because it's convenient for them. But they are incapable of seeing the consequences of it.
Uzi Knesset says my polling place is 45 seconds away from my house, lol. Winston's mom says Sunday driver, that would be very cool. I remember seeing a Sears catalog from 1900 and you could buy a house, have it delivered and set up, and if I remember right, it was $100 for the basic model.
Sunday driver says we should discourage voting. The larger the voting pool, the worse the average voter base. We need high-quality voters.
And the democracy works better when the voting populace is educated. But I'm not so concerned about that it increases the voting pool so much as I am concerned that it creates opportunities rife with the ability to abuse the system, and that it actually discourages people from voting on election day. Apparently.
Uzi Knesset says you need idiots to vote in bad scenarios for smart voters to learn from, lol. Winston's mom says or more people could read Plato's Republic.
Could we just not teach them a lesson? This, of all the elections that you know maybe you could teach people a lesson, let's not do it this time. Not with Biden. I last time around it was like, oh man, if they don't elect Donald Trump, Republicans are never going to win another election. This time it's like, oh yeah, if they don't vote in Donald Trump, then
Live Action says didn't you have to be a landowner to vote in the beginning of this country? Winston's mom says Sunday driver, high quality voters, I believe you mean more voters who think like you do. And I am only half teasing you.
You're right. That is, I'm sure that's exactly the way we. Of course, nobody wants to think that they think of it like that. It's just like, honestly, our own biases are so strong.
Brad Messerl says if we allow mail-in ballots, they have to include blood sample and fingerprints, smiley face.
Well, the silly thing is that there was, you have to put a signature on it, like but in a lot of these cases, because they're getting so many mail-in ballots, they're not even going to do that. But then in other cases, like in some of these runoff races and stuff like that, like 20% of the ballots are getting discounted. Like the number of ballots that are getting rejected is higher than the margin of these races. How can you have a presidential election? Can you imagine? They come out, Donald Trump wins because his supporters go on election day, and then there's like a 20% of ballots are rejected. And Democrats will say that the election was stolen because so many ballots were rejected. And then they'll go through and they'll find all of the ballots that probably should have been accepted and weren't. Like, it's really just, it's going to be a disaster.
Sunday driver says the higher the voting population, the more stupid people vote. People who work and contribute are outvoted, and they are losing their rights to those who sit on their asses.
Listen, most people are working and contributing though right now, right? Like to be frank, if you're concerned, because this is always the Republican thing, right? It's that people want to increase the welfare state and this and that and the other, right? It's not because of masses of unemployed people are voting. Okay? Those people don't vote, all right? It's those people that do work that that have a little bit that are too compassionate. They think, oh, we need to do the nice thing and give people a safety net. And they don't understand the negative consequences of these actions. Oh my gosh. I went on a date one time with this girl that she was an economics major, and she was in a master's program, or she had finished a master's program, and her master's thesis was on welfare. And she had been so red pilled by it. She was like, okay, we'll go in and we'll look at it. But then as she started to go into the data and everything, it was clear that welfare was very, very negative for the people that it was intended to help. That it just made people more poor. And oh man. And that's where the problem is that people want to vote with their emotions instead of rather looking through the data and determining what is effective and what is not. Right? Oh, there's this thing the other day. This researcher, he said he did a study that showed that if you change your attitudes on things like work, you can improve your economic situation. And everybody said that was racist.
Live Action says I don't think this will be a smooth transition no matter who wins.
Well, yeah, you guys have read this story about the Democrat dry run war game, right? Where they did a war game of different scenarios about what they would do in an election. And in one of the scenarios where the election was unclear, it was like Donald Trump won and all of the eastern states seceded from the union and stuff. Absolutely crazy. Won't be a smooth transition. Democrats aren't planning on this being a smooth transition if they lose. I tell you that much. But I'm thinking though that it may actually surprise us. Apparently, McConnell's going to be on CNBC. Democrats are already lawyered up. Yeah. If only the employed voted, every state would vote red. That's ridiculous, Sunday Driver. Especially when you're in a country that has like less than, it was like 8% unemployment or something. Nah, sorry. The unemployed, quote unquote, is such a small portion of the population. They're insignificant. Who are the people that are voting in the welfare? It's a combination of people that are already really poor. They're working, but they're already really poor, and these white liberals that are actually, like in Tech Valley. These people who have basically lived in privilege all their life and basically don't know anything else other than, you're supposed to go to school and then you're supposed to go and work for a company, and they just do their thing and they get paid, and they don't really understand the value of hard work. Not because they don't work and they don't work hard, but because they've never seen anything else in their life. They don't understand that there are people out there that fail over and over and over again because of their poor work ethic. I've seen it. Man, when I was a missionary, holy crap. There was this one street. It was in Independence, Missouri. And it's like if you, in Independence, Missouri, there's this break off of the Mormon church that built this really weird corkscrew spire sort of a thing. So if you go there, and I think you just kind of go over and up a little bit, and then there's this street called, what was it? Was it River Road? No, it wasn't River. I could show you on a map. Let me find it on a map. I don't know if you guys care too much about this, but I just want to show you this street because it's, oh my gosh. Truman Road and West 23rd Street, as I think it. Yeah, right here. Was it Walnut? Man, I think it was a Walnut. Because it was the one that went all the way through. Oh my gosh. 23rd was, no. See, when in my area was from here to here. Anyways, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Walnut. And it goes all the way through. But all of the houses were on that street were like ramblers. Like really, like seriously, like 2-bedroom ramblers. And there was a few people on that street that were just like they were in school or whatever, and they were really trying to keep their costs low. But almost everybody else on that street was on meth, and it was so frustrating to watch some of these people because they would be talking about stuff like they would have an opportunity, a job opportunity, or whatever the deal was, and then they'd sleep in, or they forget, they just don't go, or they didn't feel like it. It was like they were always sabotaging themselves because they just didn't have they didn't have that thing in like when you've grown up with it and you've been raised with it, right? That you're supposed to keep appointments, that you're supposed to keep commitments, right? It's just second nature to most people. Not to most people. Let's just say most middle class Americans. It's just second nature. But apparently that is not human nature. Our human nature is not really about keeping appointments, and in a lot of cultures they don't keep appointments. They never have appointments. They never have to be somewhere at a certain time or anything like that. And so these people, they would just fail over and over and over again. But you see, most people have never had that. They've never seen that. Most people have been so inoculated from it. They don't realize why a lot of these people that are in perpetual poverty, why they continue to be in there. And I've seen people make it out, and it's just a mind change, right? But what we're doing now is we're saying, "Oh, you're a victim," and so they're never able to make the transition that they need to, you know.
Live Action says news last night went in depth on Biden's mental health. Uzi Knesset says can't help but be taken aback by the fact that someone who makes $12 per hour understands the negative impacts a $15 per hour minimum wage would have on them. Winston's mom says approximately 10% of the population have an IQ of 83. They simply can't hold a job. The next level 83 to 94 make pretty good soldiers.
Sunday Driver says you are describing the voter base that participates as voter turnout increases.
I really don't think that that's such a significant like there's this whole idea. So let me try and lay out a more clear thesis here. Increasing voter turnout does not automatically mean that a government is going to become more socialist. The idea that there is a stupid part of the population that when they start voting, all of the decisions start becoming worse is, I think, farcical. The underlying dynamics under each election, like how popular a particular candidate is or how likable a particular candidate is, are far more influential on the end results, right? In this election right now, if it wasn't Donald Trump, okay? If something happened, if Donald Trump died and they had had a new Republican primary, any one of those guys that had run against Donald Trump would probably completely run away with this election against Joe Biden, because Joe Biden is such a poor candidate, especially since it seems like he's losing his mental facilities, right? Easy election. The only reason it's close is because Donald Trump has high negatives. Does the American voter want socialism? No. But the issue is that the average voter refuses to acknowledge the radical agenda that the Liberal Party is beginning to push. They still think that this is the party of JFK, that there's Republicans and Democrats. They're all the same. They all tax and spend, and they're always taking away their rights, and they're the kind of the same thing. They're not seeing yet that the radicals in the left party are basically pushing Marxism. And if they did, the Democrats would never stand a chance of winning an election. That's not an issue of the voting base is dumb. That's an issue of the media not accurately reporting the facts and the Republicans not making a very good case and not pointing it out very well. The guys that are on, engaged and like watching YouTube and things like that, they get it because they see it every day. But your average person that's like, oh, I'm not really into politics, they don't not get it. It's been hidden from them. I can't tell you how often I have arguments with people on my Facebook where I point something out and they don't believe me. Right? Yeah, like this George Floyd thing, or George Floyd, perfect example. George Floyd, high. People will say that it's racist to point out that it's high, but it is incredibly relevant to the particular situation. You go and watch that video, man. That guy had like twice the amount of fentanyl that a normal person, that like people die with significantly lower doses. This guy was so high. I mean, he was a big guy, but he was so high. He was saying he couldn't breathe when he was in the car. He couldn't breathe because he was on drugs, dude. And he resisted the police excessively. He lied many, many, many times. The whole thing was just a total disaster. And do you see any of that? No. Keith Ellison intentionally put that under seal so that we would never see it. And meanwhile, the media is out there, oh, this is an example of racism. There's nothing racist in there. This is just a by-the-book police stop where the suspect resisted the police and he was particularly big and strong. Right? So, people, they go and watch the video and all of a sudden it's like, well, this incident was not even close to what I thought it was. And you notice, Democrats aren't really talking about it anymore after that video was released. But then that's the thing. Video was released. Was it a big story? It wasn't. They hid it. Average voter doesn't know. Average voter probably has heard about George Floyd by now because of all the protests and everything else like that. But does the average voter know that he was that high on fentanyl? I don't think that they do.
Haitian Trader says you're an asshole, bro. Haitian Trader says you're such a dick.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Uzi Knesset says the hyperfocus the left has on immutable characteristics is unnerving to me. It's a big cherry on the Marxist cake.
Sunday Driver says it's likely he was going to die even without police involvement. It makes sense to think that he was in cardiac arrest prior to the police arriving.
Uzi Knesset says they overcharge the hell out of those cops. On purpose. They know they'll walk and it'll cause more riots.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I don't know if you could really do that on, I don't know. I don't think that you would do it on purpose, but you're absolutely right. I think you're absolutely right. They're going to walk. They're probably going to walk. I agree with you. He overcharged. I mean, I'm not 100% sure how the law works and stuff like that. Like, if they charge him for first or second degree murder, can't the jury still charge him for manslaughter? Right? Because manslaughter, I think, would fit.
RJ Wheel says the 2 police interns should walk.
Yeah. And like, where is all of the analysts out there saying, well, based on the video that we have, it's extremely unlikely that they're going to get second degree murder, right? That should be something that I would expect to be seeing on TV now, and you're not. By the way, Treasury's showing some resilience, and the E-mini not moving up to the 33.22 high. I'm wondering if they're just going to wait and it's going to take the E-mini open. I would assume that the bulls will be encouraged, but there also seems to be some developing weakness.
Sunday Driver says Biden, should he win, just said that he wouldn't stand in the way of DOJ pressing charges against Trump.
Well, I wouldn't care about that necessarily. Although, so the story, I think the reason he's saying that is because the story that I was reading this morning was that Deutsche Bank did give New York prosecutors some of Donald Trump's bank records. That was the big story. They were saying, this is an investigation into criminality that is far more reaching than people realize, and this and that. But you know what the actual takeaway from that story really is? So they got nothing. They had the bank records that they want. They already have bank records, and nothing came from it. That's really what I would take from that story. So now Biden's saying that he wouldn't. Well, I don't think that if a prosecutor has real charges against somebody, I'm concerned though that what you'll get is a circus again, right? Think about it. Like, let's say Joe Biden wins, okay? So here's Joe Biden in Congress pushing through their radical agenda, and there's going to be a lot of people that will sit there and say, hey, wait a second. We shouldn't rescind the Equal Rights Protection Act, right? That would be a bad. That's what they're doing in California, right? We shouldn't change that. Well, guess what? Ain't nobody gonna care because they're all gonna be focused on this circus court prosecuting Donald Trump, and of course Donald Trump will get away with it in the end. But like, that's the sort of thing that could happen, right? And it would be, it would be a huge distraction. Do you think this conversation could get this chat? No, we have talked way more radical. Like, well, first of all, I am very, let's just remember, I am very much about we need to use logic and facts, and I can't come in and trade off of a conspiracy theory. Like this Q, man, somebody was arguing with me on Q because they were saying, if anything, Q united people against pedophiles. They didn't do jack shit. Donald Trump supporters were pointing this stuff out long before Q. Q is just jumping on a bandwagon. They never done anything. None of their predictions came true. They're just a nuisance, frankly. Okay. They're arguing with me about this. No facts. People on 4chan came out and provided evidence and showed that they were the ones that created the original post and that it was all a hoax. Right? So can you go and trade the markets based off of QAnon I'll tell you what, if you do that, you're going to lose money. Right? So, the thing that's getting people in trouble is they'll say things that are inaccurate. Well, if we've said something that was inaccurate, then we'll point it out and we'll correct it. But having an opinion is not going to get us turned off.
RJ Wheels says all this talk of Trump protesting result. If Trump wins tiny margin when I think Democrats won't accept it. They will argue popular vote win.
Of course not. One of the things that has been happening in the Democrat Party has been the perpetuating a ongoing mass hysteria. And anytime that something happens that should pop the mass hysteria, the Democrats find a way to keep it going, right? So if Donald Trump wins, you would think that that would be the final nail, that would pop it, and that would be the end of it. But you know that that's not going to be that way. And they're going to try and claim something like last time around, that he only won because of X thing, and that X thing shouldn't have been allowed to have happened. Okay, McConnell on CNBC saying, do expect a stimulus deal in the near future. Sure thing, Mitch. Oh gosh, Brad.
Brad Messerl says 2 + 2 = 5 smiley face.
Yeah, so this is an interesting thing. If you guys haven't read that story, I would go and read it, and stick with me here, because most people go and they read that story. So the story is that some anti-BLM philosopher kind of people who basically their job is journalists that argue with these people, were saying that they could get BLM to argue that 2 + 2 = 5. So they did that, and they got some people that were arguing that 2 + 2 = 5, and like seriously. And everybody reads that story as, oh, like they're so ridiculous, right? But the real takeaway from that article, and they talk about it a lot, and there's a lot of other articles where they'll go into this. There's another one that I posted on I should post it on my page. I'll do that after the stream, all right? Where it's this article called "The Left Doesn't Want," or the woke don't want to argue with you. Okay, the whole thing is that their argument is an argument about power. So to them, facts don't matter. If there's a fact that's inconvenient to them maintaining or taking power, then they will just argue the opposite. And their justification for this is that the system is so tilted against them that the system will make stuff up to keep them repressed. And so in order to fight back and to take power and, take power away from the elite, they have to just go along with whatever it is that gives them the power. Now, the reason why I would point that particular thing out is that you see it on the right too. Man, on Donald Trump supporters, they don't care what the facts are in many cases. They only care what is going to be beneficial to their political ambitions. And it's a very dangerous thing, because if it becomes a widespread and the majority of the populace are acting on tribal warfare and not like this is basically they're giving into tribal instincts. They have basically come upon why we as people have cognitive dissonance, right? It's because it makes us more likely to stick with the group, and sticking with the group was more important to survival than being right was. That's no longer the case, guys. You've got to be right. And there is a reality. If you wanted to sit down and dissect my own philosophy, The first thing that I would say is that there is objective truth. And the closer that you can get to that objective truth, and in some cases, the truth may be so complicated that we can't even understand it. But the closer that you can get to that objective truth, the the more easily you can predict future events, and the better you can be at trading, right? There is objective truth. And if people continue to ignore it, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a real problem.
Uzi Knesset says, I think understanding the woke and why they're so psychologically broken has become more interesting than arguing their ideology.
Sure. Well, because I think that there's no question that their ideology doesn't. I mean, here's the thing. They're not going anywhere. Like, BLM has been around for a while. It kind of was a thing for a little bit, and then they started getting extreme. Remember that a couple of cops died, and then they kind of quieted it down, right? Same here with George Floyd. They're rioting, and now you'll notice it's kind of quieting back down, and that public support for them is dropping, right? The issue with BLM, the biggest issue with them, is that their ideology is an ideology of failure. Here comes E-mini open. They're not successful, and they never will be, because their ideology basically undermines everything that they do. So you're right. At that point, it's really arguing with them isn't so interesting, because you know that they're never going to win. So trying to understand why they think what they do is more interesting. I totally agree with you, Uzi.
Uzi Knesset says the few people I know who would label themselves as woke are so emotionally fragile that cleaning their house on a pleasant Sunday afternoon could send them into a catastrophic depression.
Okay, so here's the open. Initial move is a buy.
Uzi Knesset says peep Google Trends for Black Lives Matter on a 5-year time frame. It'll be over before September, just like it was in 2016. Winston
I
Slom
think the
says,
Democrats
one does
want
not
rid
become
of it.
enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. The latter procedure, however, is disagreeable and therefore not popular. C.G. Jung.
Well, that just makes me think about all of my arguments that I have with people about trading. Is there are some things that I've done that I have conclusively shown through back testing don't work.
Winston Slom says, the pendulum of the mind oscillates between sense and nonsense, not between right and wrong.
All
Carl Gustav Jung.
All these strategies that are like, take it short at yesterday's high in these conditions and all of that stuff, there's no consistent edge in them. Almost all of those are like, if there is an edge in it, it's too fast for you, and when it fails really hard, and so you don't actually make money on it. Almost all of these really technical setups that I've found. Now I know that profitable technical setups exist because people have shown me stats. I haven't been able to duplicate them, but man, I'm realizing that what is popular when we did that survey. Here's my takeaway from that survey. What's popular is not popular because it's effective. It's popular because it appeals to people. And all of these ways of analyzing the markets appeal to the mind, and that's why they're popular. But the reality is that because of the competitive nature of markets, you're not going to find a consistent edge that's that simple. I'm sure that there are technical edges out there. I bet you, like we were talking to Smash the Bid yesterday, I bet you that what he's looking at is not easy to see. It's probably far more nuanced than the average person would think to do. And that's often been the case with things that I've found that were really like this cost basis thing that we've been doing. It's been sitting there the whole time.
Winston Slom says 0830L timestamp. My takeaway from the survey. I would include that in the title. People will be looking for the results.
Oh, we'll make a one-off video about that. Pretty good upturn. They haven't broken out higher quite yet, but I still see 22 in the cards. I just remember now that I was saying, you know what, Seth, we need to record and make a synopsis video. Like, I should be spending Sunday making a best of speculator Seth for the week. Have I really said anything that was? But then I sit back and I'm like, do I really say anything that was like that, like highlight worthy? But you know what? We should. I don't think that I'm gonna record this week. Let's do it next week. But let's start practicing. The bot has a command. Do pound clip, or sorry, exclamation point clip. Right. So if you do clip, and you can leave a comment. Then what it will do is it will
Speculator Seth Day Trading says, clip leave a comment.
Yeah. It will it'll save something and it basically makes a note for me with the timestamp.
Winston's mom says that is an excellent idea. Speculators at Sunday highlight blooper reel. Seriously, that's a terrific way to wrap up the week. The NFL does this now. We can watch the games in 12-minute videos.
So let's start practicing that, right? So if I say something or somebody in chat says something that you think is really funny or really good and would be good for a highlight video, then do the clip. Use the clip command. We start using the clip command more often, and then we can do recap videos. And that would be nice. So the initial move was up, but the market seems to be, it's kind of weird. I'm wondering if this move is really just volatility is that poor. But then the split side of that is that the treasuries are up. In fact, the dollar index is even showing a little bit of strength. We're all talking about politics, and now I'm like, where do I want to deal with it? We're talking about the woke. Well, and here's another thing. I don't think you'd ever see any of those people trading, right?
Winston's mom says, clip, testing. The dollar is really showing a little bit of strength. Yes, and so are speculators' arms. Been working out? Lol.
No. You know what? My arms are terrible. I don't get big bite. That's it. That's all there is. It's not very good. I don't get strong arms. I got pretty good legs. But they're not huge either. They're just what is the word, ripped? You can really see the muscle. But no, I don't get that way. You know what I've always found really interesting is that the strongest people, some of the strongest and most fit people, you would never know that they were that fit if you didn't see them in their workout clothes. Like there's this girl. Oh man, it's been interesting to watch her because She is a world
Winston's
champion
mom says my
in
arms really
weightlifting.
toned up during yoga classes.
Oh, there you
I
go.
was really surprised. And I have very little upper body strength.
Well, I should do yoga if I had time. No, anyways, this girl, she is a world champion weightlifter, okay? In the masters category, like in the 35 and older people, okay? And she's always been like the Barbie type of girl, you know? But she's really fun, and we have pool parties at her house. And lately, she has become like politically active. So like here where I live, they're doing opening school back up, and they're going to do this thing where they're like every other day. So like one day you go to school, and then the next day they're home. And a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people don't like that. So there was protests, and she went to the protests, right? So when we're at the gym, she's always there. You know, all of the girls there at the gym, you know, they're like in the booty shorts and the sports bra or whatever it is. But you can see like some of these girls are really, really in shape. I would have to really, really like really, really, really clamp down on my diet and put a lot of effort into eating and everything to get even close to the physique that some of these people have, right? But when she was out there protesting, just look, you would never know. You would never think that she was just a regular mom. It's some of the strongest, most fit people. They just look like a normal person. They really do, which is kind of the funny thing. It's like when you get fit and you're around a lot of fit people, then really the thing that stands out to you is how unfit most people are. maybe my views of things has just become that distorted. The one that would always get me is like girls my age in Utah, like their arms. It's like, how do you move your arm? There's no muscle on that. How do you pick? Can you lift your hand above your head? How do you do that? There's no muscle there.
Brad Messerl says like the saying, got woke, go broke.
Yeah. Like, where is the woke business owner that is being super successful? Like, have you noticed that all of the success stories over there are like, I was homeless and then I became a senator? Okay, but like, where is the story of you worked hard and you made money and you made a better life for yourself? It doesn't happen. They don't want to. Maybe if it happens, they're never going to say it because they don't want people to. Their ideology is explicitly like counter to that. If a lot of people started having success with their ideology, then they wouldn't need to the politics for it, and it would defeat the whole purpose of the movement. I'm just telling you, it's absolutely, it's self-defeating. Okay, is McConnell still talking? I think that he said something there that the market's reacting to. Chad Pergam tweets, the coronavirus talks are basically at a standstill. They are stalled with hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars of differences. The only main progress in the discussions is that the sides appear to have narrowed the set of issues on which they think they can agree. So it does appear, so we are testing the open. He's a Fox News correspondent, by the way. Okay, well, let's watch this a little bit. I'm going to put an order in here. If they... oh, no, wrong one. Sure. Gonna do it right here. Just in case they start going for that. Kumo calls on Wealthy to return to New York. You've got to come back. That was a Hill article. Is that really what he said? Like that sounds like mocking him, but that was a serious article. Carl Quintilla posting here, City, the last reopening rebound. We expect strong job gains of 3 million. However, July likely marks a shift to monthly employment reports becoming more indicative of the pace of economic recovery later this year as opposed to more mechanical rehiring. The only area where they seem somewhat close is an extension of additional unemployment benefits through mid-December. Senate will be convening on Monday, and I will be right here in Washington. The House has already skipped town. So we're not getting a deal this week. At one point, do you just decide there's not a deal and the market throws a fit? What do you think? Rabo, everything can appear hunky-dory until the real money runs. Exactly. I don't think that people realize. Because right now it seems like everything is all, positive. But if they don't get that stimulus, then at some point the market is going to run into a wall or a cliff. Like you're just going to walk right off the cliff and it's just going to be down. And then everybody's going to realize, oh. But then that's the thing is, even if we do get the stimulus, we might come into that cliff and people will realize how bad it is. I don't know if the market would decline in that case because the money can keep them elevated. But geez. Like, think about it. The U.S. economy is smaller today than it was 6 months ago. How can you have the mini at all-time highs? The NASDAQ is a different issue because it's just tech. Tech has grown. But everything else? Mm-mm. Okay, so they came back to the up and they bounced again. But the treasuries are sitting right there near their highs. Ugh. The Pelosi-Schumer Mnuchin Meadows negotiating session begins at 5 p.m. today. Oh, man. Really? Well, if we get a extended move, we might come back to 32.90. Then there's the weekly open at 32.72. Well, that would require a trend day. The way that they're trading right now, though, we should be cautious. I definitely see a possibility of some longs getting stuck here and us getting swept back down. But I'm also suspect that a lot of what we're seeing is just incredibly low volatility. Incredibly low volatility. Again, Barrett, emerging market currencies are depreciating steadily over the past few weeks against the backdrop of a weak U.S. dollar. Collectively, emerging markets have enough foreign debt to create a financial conundrum. Keep a close eye as these risks emerge. A little bit of clicking there. Dollar, or the gold is moving. So is the dollar getting weak here? It is. So that might finally be what it takes to push them higher, huh? Well, on this side, I think that I can do this.
Uzi Knesset says I just got an Indian scam call about being approved for $10,000 loan. I excitedly told him how much cocaine I could buy with that. He said my approval was denied and hung up lol.
You should have recorded that, man. Oh man, have you seen these videos where people record them talking to these Indian scammers and stuff? Pretty hilarious. Hmm. 5-year down ticks. E-mini is still showing some weakness.
Trader Josh says do you think we are going to get anything out of this FOMC in 10 minutes?
You mean the Federal Reserve's Kaplan is going to be speaking? When you look at those, you should really go and read them. So like, let's come over to Forex Factory. FOMC member Kaplan speaks due to participate in a panel discussion titled Economic Recovery and Challenges in the U.S. at a virtual event hosted by the Official Monetary and Financial Institutions Forum. So that sounds to me like something where he would be likely to say, um, give his opinion as an economist about the state of the recovery that could have significant impacts on the market. So that doesn't necessarily mean that we need to stay out of the market per se, but we should be watching for any kind of moves and listening to our squawk. Ugh. Ticks up 09.5 and stacks. So that the way that I got filled on that and everything was pretty awful. I was hoping that maybe I could get back out. Now I'm like regretting not just hitting out at 09.5.
Block buy.
Whoa, what's they're really squeezing here. Hmm. Hmm. So they're saying that there's no transcript of his speech coming up for Feds Kaplan. So hmm. So there's the E-mini finally goes. Is basically the target. I mean, 22 could still happen, but
RJ Wheels says, what do you think the New York Attorney General announcement at 11:30 a.m. East is?
I don't know. I didn't know that. I didn't see that. Where did you get that from? Who was reporting it? Hmm. That is really interesting. So I'm seeing the dollar get killed again on this move up in the E-mini. But the treasuries remain pretty well
RJ
bid.
Wheels says last night they released statement. Announce at 11:30 that will have national importance is how they put it.
So probably they're going to report something about Donald Trump because they were already saying that they had his financial records or something. That'd be at 9:30 my time. If it was something about
Uzi
Donald Trump,
Knesset
it's going to
says nothing
be.
burgers for lunch bois.
If it's something about Donald Trump, then there's going to be a huge
RJ
uproar.
Wheels says probably fraud re Trump and Deutsche Bank.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying. It was like, well, so they said that they got Trump's financial records from Deutsche Bank, but uh, this, the story is really they don't have anything. If you're otherwise, they would be saying something. But if they make an announcement today, then that definitely changes it, right? They do, and I don't know. Ooh, it's that's a little nerve wracking, isn't it? If it happens to be about Donald Trump, I think we could sell the index, huh? I don't know. What I'm hearing from the Senate negotiations doesn't sound too encouraging to me, but I don't think that any of that would be enough to move the indexes down. I just find it a little curious the way that the indexes are moving because sometimes you get these little rushes and it seems like maybe that would be news, but hmm, okay. So a decent amount of volume going through 10 now. What I'm doing here in the treasuries is that suddenly I'm realizing that I don't think it makes sense. I think I fell into an old habit there. Hmm. And I've seen something interesting here that I've never seen before. The inventory number for the longs in the E-mini is 0 right now. Let's see in here in 5 minutes. I'll get another number and we'll see what it turns to. Gold is moving up. Gold is moving pretty strongly here. Hmm. 10 still having trouble though. Mortgage rates plunged to record low 2.88 for 30-year loan. Well, I got 2 point something. Maybe it was 3. No, I thought it was like 285 or something. Hmm. That offer at 10.5 pulled a little too easily. E-mini hit the 22. I think that they're likely to turn down here. So getting headlines from Kaplan, he hasn't said anything too important yet. He's just talking about how this one's different because so many people weren't working, and it's like, no duh. No duh. You think we can just go short on the E-mini here? Let's try it. I'm just going to take an exploratory trade here because I've never seen this setup before in the E-mini. I think that it means that we go down, but I don't really know. So don't read too much into it, right? But I think that they're going to turn down. I think it means that all of the longs took profits. They all seem to be lined up for it. How much volume has gone through there in the E-mini? Not that much. 10,000. Go and read about this New York Attorney General news again. Yeah. He's a Democrat for sure. It's almost certain to be about Donald Trump. However, the Times, reported that Vance's probe was still in its early stages. Well, it might come out and just be hype, but I bet you it's going to be about him. So, which kind of makes. Now, that's not for another 90 minutes, though. Monetary policy and fiscal policy are only a bridge to managing the healthcare crisis. Hmm. Okay.
RJ Wheel says it's gotta be bad news at London Close. If a Democrat says of national importance, it usually means bad for Trump admin.
Right. Well, that's where I'm saying that she could be making an announcement and just be trying to do PR and overstate the importance of what she has. In fact, that's probably the more likely case. But for us, I think that we have to assume that they're going to say something bad for Donald Trump, right? What the hell? Joe Biden said that, unlike the African American community with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community. What the hell did he mean by that? Man, I Democrats probably just can't wait to get this election over with. They're just hoping and praying. Don't say any more dumb things. Let us elect you in first. Well, they did push. Well, they okay. I don't think they've touched the new high yet. There it is.
RJ Wheel says Biden is Swedish for word salad.
Well, 24 is not bad. I'm just looking at this and I just see that there are not a lot of longs. Kind of makes me want to take it again. I'm gonna have to wait for something better, a better spot. Look at the 10-year is stacking up. Pandora signs deal with Lucasfilm to launch Star Wars jewelry. I'll try it one more time. The dollar rebounded really hard there. By about 10 cents. The dollar's rebounded. Hmm. Okay. So the 30-year was ticking up there. They're not touching 29, but they're certainly reaching. Gold did turn there as well. Okay, now it's really pumping there. 10 half. 5 years setting it up.
Winston's mom says RJ Wheel I see the ag Letitia James will make this announcement today. That should be interesting. And I read in the Daily Beast that 3 teens with AKs accidentally jumped the walls at Mar-a-Lago.
What? How do you accidentally jump over a wall? Oh, okay. 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 So did you note there that when they were hitting into 10 half, that people were stacking?
Smash the Bid says, clip how do you accidentally jump over a wall? Lol.
Right? I don't know what they're going to do. This one is a 50-50.
Winston's mom says, they had no idea where they were, said the police. They accidentally entered the grounds of the resort Friday, and dumped a backpack containing a loaded AK-47. Quote.
Okay, so Kaplan is talking about, that could have an effect on the dollar and we don't want to do more than we have to.
Vlad Stolyarov says volatility crushed.
Oh, look, they did take 10 half, right?
Winston's mom says according to a police report, a Palm Beach officer spotted the teens sitting in a parked car last Friday morning a few miles from Mar-a-Lago. When the officer turned on his lights, Winston's mom says the driver of the car took off toward Mar-a-Lago. The boys abandoned the car near the club, jumped Mar-a-Lago's nearby wall, and hid on the grounds. Officers surrounded the club.
Funny.
Winston's mom says and are being held at a juvenile detention facility. Winston's mom says a helicopter was used to help find them. They're charged with trespassing with a firearm, burglary with a firearm, and resisting arrest without violence.
You can resist arrest without violence, huh? That's one I've never heard before either. Tried to run away, maybe, is what that means? I don't know. So there's the E-mini taking another step up. Hmm.
Winston's mom says Trump just told Geraldo there could be a vaccine before the election. I will not rush to be in first in line for a rushed vaccine, gee whiz.
Well, they was saying that it would be there like 6 days before the election, right? Or not 6 days. It was really close to the election. Hmm.
Winston's mom says 26 watching now. Will everyone please rush to hit the like button? Thanks.
Uh-oh. Sitting here and waiting for this is making me. I need to take a break. I'll be back. Okay, well. Chances of either of these working out are diminishing. Not quite sure. Well, I remember this one I got in because the squeeze was so strong. I'm kind of trying to decide, like, does it bother me that it's been so long? They can certainly move up further. It just doesn't look like they want to. Now I'm wondering over here with the whole thing about how there's just not a lot of longs out there in the E-mini on the market maker side. Perhaps that just means that they're so anxious to get it that they're all just buying with market orders or something. Hmm. Gold is coming down quite a bit. Like I said, the dollar appears to be strengthening. Whoa, that was some. They held there at 33.25 in the E-mini. And look, he's stacking as it moves down. How much is that he's following it with? 100? Hmm. Oh, we got some news coming here. Natural gas stocks change? Okay. So they stacked some on the 10? Two people stacked almost 1,000 there. Well, 10.5 is still a weak bid. That could just be a lure, but
Vlad Stolyarov says was looking for pullback here, S3325.
there was
Vlad
definitely some
Stolyarov says
volume
still
in it.
uptrending.
I mean, it's not enough volume that it's like, oh my gosh, like they're definitely going to turn down. But somebody definitely took profits there at 33.25 and it held. And not only that, but like there was stacking on the offer and iceberging and stuff there
Vlad
as though
Stolyarov
somebody was
says
trying to hold it.
UVXY kinda trying to hold on.
Like somebody was trying to prevent them from getting above 33.25. And now since then they're down a point. Now the treasury is still not holding it. So you see they pulled down and those orders pulled. So we'll see what happens. Strangely enough, the 5-year is not lined up with the others this time, even though the 10-year looks a little bit more likely to push through 10 or through 11.
Vlad Stolyarov says if 50-50 here to roll now.
Okay. I'm gonna quote all this chart over here. I want to see. Yeah. Okay. Okay, they took it at 11, 3,000 contracts all at once. Some did pull. Okay, that's going to move the treasuries. Kaplan saying, I am a skeptic on yield curve control, but we will keep an open mind about it. That's probably going to make the spreads move. The E-mini sold there a little bit too. I don't know if that was related, but
Uzi Knesset says wow 3 days in a row on CB the high is 83 even.
oh, I bet you they're going to go higher than that. Look at those stacks at 10, half, and 11 now. This is like they're squeezing this like a pimple, you know? Okay, but
Uzi
this is going to
Knesset
be
says watching the
significant
book in the
resistance.
2-year is nuts lol 55k was on offer haha.
Really? Interesting. Yeah. So Kaplan's saying that he's really because he thinks that it could screw up
Vlad
pricing.
Stolyarov says what doesn't help is volatility not going up.
Well,
Vlad Stolyarov says
volatility.
so not sure about the pullback.
I don't think that volatility is going to do anything significant unless the E-mini turns down. And the first indication that I'm going to have, hold on. He's saying that he's comfortable with letting inflation be above target for some time. Okay, so there I finally got filled. Oh my gosh. Stacks at 12? That's actually making me a little nervous. Okay, so the first one would be 33, 22, 25 in the E-mini. That would be ATR range stop, so that's going to screw a lot of people up. Then I've got this moving average at 33, 21, 75. And then on like targets, the buyer's line is at 33.20 still. So 33.20 is a potential bounce. If they're really serious about this, then they're going to have to go to 33.16. 33.16 is at the point at which the momentum turns strongly in favor of bears. So if we were to say get below 33.16, then you're almost guaranteed there's
Uzi
going to be an
Knesset says
uptick
nice
in
flush in
volatility.
CB there. Buyer's inventory plummeted.
Yeah. Oh, very good catch. See this right here at 12. I was just looking when they hit into 12.5. I was like, I probably should have taken it off there. Now, the flip side of this is that the E-mini is turning, right? Okay, so there it is right there. Just like I said, there's going to be a bounce at 20. I mean, I would like 13. That was just a lot of volume at 12.5. But I'm wondering though, Uzi. I mean, we really ever seen this before, where one side's inventory keeps going down to zero over and over and over again? Because that's what happened in the E-mini too. Is like buyer's inventory almost completely disappears.
Uzi Knesset says I've never seen it go back to zero. Close but not quite there.
Yeah, I don't think you'd ever, almost never would see it in the treasuries, but they're in ES on a 5-minute chart. It did go zero. Hmm. That's interesting. So on the downtick in the 10-year, it ticked down and they stacked pretty aggressively there. And then the E-mini turned down and he immediately pulled his offer. Or no, sorry, it was a bid. Oh, I take that. So when it downticked, they pulled the bid, it came down and then it immediately ticked back up. So I think that they are shaking it around here, trying to get some orders into 12.5. Okay, so they've touched it. The seller's line. Yesterday's close is an important number.
Uzi Knesset says did I mention I was long at 82.15 and closed it for 2 ticks because I thought the entry was late? Lol.
Why would you? So this is and that's an interesting. It's really interesting, Uzi, because I've been thinking that
Uzi
exact
Knesset
scenario.
says yes. Much shame.
I've been thinking through that exact scenario in my head, where it's like, okay, it's bouncing off of that line and it's like one tick up. Can I just like straight up take it there? Or do I need to be concerned about being late there? And at least in this case, in retrospect, it looks like a nonsense decision, right? But you playing it right. So it's also interesting though. It seems like you've been playing more the bounce with the trend up with it, and I've been okay.
Uzi
Yeah,
Knesset says absolutely lol.
yeah. I have been playing it both ways. Okay, interesting. So this is a significant downturn inside of the counter trend period. That means that the chances of this being like a true reversal are higher. And the way that the treasuries reached up there is very much. So I think that I did the right thing by taking my profits at 12.5, because there's a lot of volume trading there, and there's probably not a lot of uh, shorts to squeeze out. This guy in the shorts he's taking on a lot of risk.
Uzi Knesset says, what happens if the buyer inventory goes back to zero?
Well, I don't know if it has to mean anything. I think it just means like buyer took his profits. For us to go up further, you're either going to need new participants entering the market with market orders, or they're going to have to hover around that price for a while. You know?
Uzi
Okay.
Knesset says ZB buyer is down to 39 contracts lol.
Well, I bet
Uzi
you.
Knesset says now zero.
uh, So the piece of news that started this was the yield curve control thing, right? So in the yield curve control, I think that they want to steepen the curve, right? So they're going to buy this and sell this. But if that's not what's happening, then you're going to buy this and sell this. Am I wrong?
Vlad Stolyarov says might go long here soon. Vlad Stolyarov says missed the short lol. Vlad Stolyarov says 3,210.
No, yes, that's correct. No. No, that can't be it. It's got to be more. It must be more complicated than that. It's not just the spread. Which way did the spread go? It is flattening. It is flattening. Right. So I think, Uzi, that what is happening is that because of what Kaplan has said here, no, I am right. Yield curve control, the point of yield curve control is to start to make targets on certain maturities to try and steepen the curve a little bit because it's getting really, really flat. And because he has said that he is an opponent of yield curve control, they're flattening the curve. So everything is moving up, but the 30-year in particular is moving up more. And because the 30-year has moved up so more, the market maker wasn't expecting it, and so the market maker got all of his exits filled. So in order for the ZB to move up more, he's going to have to absorb a lot of contracts here in this area, or they're going to have to start hitting into it with market orders, which would mean, first of all, probably we're really likely to have a pullback in the treasuries. But then you could also see some things where they go through some of these prices without a lot of contracts trading. But you notice right here, like 326, like they are trading a lot of contracts on the way back. So it looks like longs are trying to pick up new inventory. I think that's what's going on. But again, when I'm looking at it, when we did this squeeze, they were already really far, up, let's say. Have to say, so at this
Stolyarov
point,
says someone was buying too much.
yeah, well, I think that they just
Vlad Stolyarov
squeezed
says nice correction.
I mean, the way that happened in the treasuries, like I said, it was like it was just like a little pimp. You could just see them there up at the top. That little, you see it there on the DOM. It's like this little aberration in the DOM, and they're like, I don't like. We got to get rid of that, and they just squeeze it until all of the orders came out. It did it quite nicely. And you could see in this instance, because we were already up so high, you could see almost exactly where they took the profits at in the 10-year. Now, other thing we got to remember, or we got to pay attention to, dollar index, dollar higher. There's still going to be some spots up here. So another 10 cents up, and then the dollar's going to start to get. So if they start to go above that, then that's at that point I would start to say ES might be in a bender day. Right? Until then. Oops. Wrong button. Okay. Are they already there? Okay.
Vlad Stolyarov says they trying to push.
I think that the Kaplan just said something else there. That
Vlad Stolyarov says interesting action.
That move right there is some longs bailing. They haven't touched that low, so like, okay, there you go. See all the stops. Okay, he's saying fiscal stimulus is the right option. Okay. So I'm going to try and take a
Vlad
profit here.
Stolyarov says UVXY picked up with large volume.
I think that there could be a lot more in the short side here, but because I'm getting some clicks and it's slowed down and everything, I think that we're likely to have a. In fact, I'm thinking about just, yeah. Too much volume trading there too.
Vlad Stolyarov says anyone who got bearish here better keep pushing down or else it's gonna bounce.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty happy. I took that one trade where I went short and I got squeezed out really quickly. That I'm a little upset about because I should have bailed on that so much faster, and I kind of made it up. But this one in the
Vlad
evening is pretty
Stolyarov
good.
says AAPL bounced already.
I'm okay with that one in the E-mini. I don't now, of course, if it goes lower, if it were to just right now instantly go lower, then I'm gonna be a little. We still got 30 minutes, right? There's gonna be some stuff here at the bottom of the hour. Hold on, what was that?
Vlad Stolyarov says what would be funny is they rally 3,317.5 and don't reject. Octavius C says do you have a live US dollar chart?
I have a synthetic US dollars chart. So I'll show you. Oh, yeah, this one right here. So the line down at the very bottom is a synthetic dollar index. So I'm taking all of the different futures that are involved in the dollar index, and I'm estimating the dollar index. And it's pretty close. It's pretty close on. Especially since the euro is such a big component, right? So that's what I was saying. See, there was these little spikes here in the overnight, and there's kind of like resistance here. So that's where it's like, okay, over 30, 93.10, then this move in the dollar index might start to surprise people. And the people that are going to be the worst positioned for a move like that are going to be these guys over in the E-mini. So that's why I'm keeping an eye on that. Because it looks like, to me, it looks like money is coming out and fleeing into the treasuries ahead of time.
Vlad Stolyarov says looked overdone.
Yeah. I mean, that the problem that we're still going to have.
Vlad Stolyarov says initial push down.
Oops. Hold on a second. Somebody was asking me for the streaming link. Yeah. So the other issue though is that we got to look at like volatility is so low. So that's where it's like, I think my exit there was really good, wasn't it? Both of those exits were really good. Ooh, I'm quite proud of myself. Give myself a hand. So I was just thinking, I don't know if you're there yet, Anthony, but somebody messaged me on Discord wondering where they get the live streaming. They hear on YouTube. I give him the link, so I think he's here now. But wanted to tell you two things. One is subscribe and click the bell icon, because if you click the bell icon, then YouTube will give you notifications when you're live, right? Or when I'm live. So clicking the bell icon makes it a lot easier to pull up the stream every day. So that's the first thing. But then the second thing was he was saying I'd like to follow and listen. Don't follow. Don't follow. If you see me making a trade and it wasn't had anything to do with anything that you don't take it. Okay? Because trading is about making your own decisions. If you're just looking at what other people are doing, even if you're just looking at other market information and you're seeing orders coming in and going long, or you're basing everything that you're doing off of what everyone else is doing, you're not trading. You're following. And there are situations where you can make money following, but ultimately those aren't the ones that make the money, right? The ones that make the money are the ones that are making the decisions. So, don't follow. You need to make another video about that. Anyways, so now the buyer's line 33.18. Let's see here. Somebody else is sending me a picture here. It's got a price. It's got a good 75% chance of hitting. DTLAP, what's that?
Vlad Stolyarov says now Pelosi pumping market.
Is she pumping the market? What?
Vlad Stolyarov says talking about the deal.
Right. Well, she was saying stuff earlier, wasn't she? Oh, no, that's right. At 8:45, her and Schumer were holding a press conference. That's right. Let me pull it up here. And he's talking about voting by mail. Basically, he's trying to justify all of their
TRT1 says Trump
asks
must have
in the
something
bill.
on her. Vlad Stolyarov says think or swim 1057M on Spy. Pelosi says negotiation making progress.
Yeah.
Ace Trades says howdy kids. PRT1 says Dems are done. Vlad Stolyarov says so do I want to fight here or not, that's the questions.
So basically what the Democrats are doing is they're trying to justify all of the additional things that they're adding onto the bill. So we need to add this and we need to add this. Which I understand why they're doing that, but I don't think it's good optics.
Let's fight here. PRT1 says too choppy.
I really don't think that they're going to get a deal if they stick that sort of stuff in there. Like if I was the administration, I would almost be thinking, okay, let's let the Democrats add everything that they want, and then I'll come in and say, well, I'm not 100% happy about the bill, but that's the best that they were able to do. And then because the Democrats have been so stingy about it, and then watch the bill get voted on and fail, you know?
PRT1 says they can't resist adding crap. Vlad Stolyarov says yeah, I only plan to short market at 3,325. Ace Trades says you said, administration and thinking, that was funny.
Vlad
Stolyarov says this midday fight is a 50-50 coin flip.
Use the clip. So remember, your guy's got to use the clip command. Somebody says something funny. Oh, now Pelosi is talking. Okay, so my feed is probably a little delayed. Oh my gosh, she can barely talk. Nancy, I think it's time for you to retire. Like real talk. I think that if you can't keep your dentures in your mouth, that maybe you shouldn't be in Congress anymore. That's just me. That's just me. Man, are you guys gonna make me do it myself? When you see something cool, you got to use the clip command. There we go.
Speculator Seth Day Trading says, clip. Vlad Stolyarov says I am going to grab a snack.
Use it. We'll use the clip and then we can come back and pull them out.
Ace Trades says, clip. PRT1 says Nancy and Joe babble speech. Ace Trades says what does clip do?
I'll show you. Where do I put it in? I don't even remember which file it goes into. Oh, it's not that one. Maybe I have it.
Ace Trades says also, go long S 3317.25.
No, I think it's, even if I wanted to, it's too late, but kind of trying to look at some. So here's the thing: is the action has definitely turned in favor of the longs and everything, and buy the dip came in there, but there wasn't a ton of volume on it, and there's still a couple of news headwinds ahead of us. So I think that one would have worked. You could have gotten 2 points out of it, but I'm wary about trying to take anything and hold it for a long time right now. Maybe I don't have it in there anymore. Hold on. Workspace. Back end.
PRT1 says scalpy scalp time.
Scalpy scalp time. Yeah, exactly. All right. Info. Maybe I got rid of it. Oh, that one you don't have to do anything. Oh no, I do have it right there. Clip. Settings. Oh, that's right. Okay. So if you use clip, then it will come in here and it will make clips for us. We should fix that. So Win left a few clips. So in here, Oh, I closed it. Okay. I'm listening to Schumer talk. I'm like, okay, Schumer, if you say so. There we go. Is that going to restart it? Yeah, that's cool.
Vlad Stolyarov says I hate this market, I really do.
It's really, the VIX is just so terrible right now, right? But you know what, Vlad? Here's the problem. You've been spoiled. The past 5 months, we've had some of the best trading that you're ever going to get. And now it's back to, for most of my trading days, that what has been normal. This is normal.
Vlad Stolyarov says I've been spoiled by March, April, May.
Yeah. Now all of a sudden, it's like it never goes anywhere. You know, it's going to make you wonder how all these guys that have been trading in Robinhood and think that they're
Vlad
good
Stolyarov
traders
says those
could get
100
diced.
point days. Ace Trades says at Vlad
100 point
Stolyarov I
days.
hate the S. I really do. Lol.
Well, you should trade the NASDAQ then, Ace. Oh man, I was just thinking because I want to go because the Ace has been Ace has been around for over a year, right? Okay, and we live close, so we're like, oh, we should get together. But then the pandemic thing has been around, and we don't want
Ace
him
Trades
to catch
says
it.
what is the symbol for the NASDAQ?
NQ. Don't trade it. It's the Widowmaker. Has it been 2 years? I think it's been maybe a year and a half because you came around like around springtime. No, so next weekend is the meteor shower. I'm gonna go. Well, we're gonna try out. Now is probably the time to start talking to my family about it. To go to the meteor shower, that would have been a great time to meet up, but it's still like I don't think that we'll be able to meet until there's a vaccine, will we? Yeah, I don't think it's been 2 years, but maybe. It has been a long time. It has been a long time.
Ace Trades says and we have immunocompromised folks in the house.
Yeah. Probably not until there's a vaccine, huh?
Ace Trades says I've had to be extra careful.
Man. Because I really thought that, I guess I was foolish of me, but I really thought, well, okay, they're going to shut
Ace
things
Trades
down.
says
I
can't
doubt
walk
it's
in a
just going
store
to be
with
2
a gun
weeks.
and no mask. PRT1 says everyone here acting like normal on West Coast.
Almost, I'd say that here in Utah, things are pretty normal, but people aren't normal. I can still go to the store and I can sit at a restaurant and stuff. But like if you go to the restaurant, everybody's talking about the pandemic. Everybody's sitting there like, should I really be here? Is this okay? I can't believe this is okay, it's okay. Government says it's okay. It's not. Things are normal. Like the restrictions have been lifted.
PRT1
But
says 1% crazy.
yeah. I wonder when I took that trade off at 12.5. Now I'm looking at it and I'm like, I should have just flipped. I should have gone short. So the reporters are asking questions now to Nancy and Schumer. And he's basically bashing the administration. He's like, well, if they had done this back then, and what they're saying doesn't really sound to me very encouraging on that we'll get a deal.
Vlad Stolyarov says I want a short here again.
Yeah. Having a hard time with this one. I have a 30-minute chart on here. You know what I need to do is I need to come into data series. Does this one auto scale? There we go.
Vlad Stolyarov says over VWAP now. Vlad
That's a
Stolyarov
little
says
better.
UVXY increasing a bit.
Eh, oh my
PRT1
gosh.
says they have to make deal or they are going to lose the center voters.
Well,
Ace Trades
I
says
don't
short
know.
3,316.00.
You're taking him in a different spot now, Ace. I didn't see it, but it was a lot higher. I think this is a good place to play that, though.
Vlad Stolyarov
We're
says
like right in the spread.
3,321 pluses stops on bear cider.
Yeah.
Ace Trades says yeah, I'm just shouting prices.
No,
Vlad Stolyarov
we're in
says
the
pretty wide
spread.
from here.
We're in the middle of the spread, so I think that you're right. 33.15 is, 33.15 buy and 33.1850 sell. So between here and here, basically this side of the profile, it's all lined up. He says if you don't push money into the system, it doesn't work. Oh, so that seems to me like if your system requires constant extraordinary monetary systems
Vlad
from the
Stolyarov
system,
says
that
I
there's
am
something
just waiting for
wrong.
Trump to say we owe it to the Fed to rescue everyone and let's give everyone 1,000 every day BC. They've been saving it too much.
Oh man. Oh, it's unchristian to not spend the money. Shut up, Nancy. I'm sorry. Like, I know that I'm like biased towards the Republicans and everything, but the arguments that they're using right now make me so because it's manipulation. Oh, if you guys are good Christians, then you will pass the bill with all of the asks that we have in it because that's what a good charitable Christian would do. Fuck you, Nancy. Seriously. How about we use real logic and real policy discussions to get things passed?
Vlad Stolyarov says if you care about the people.
So dumb. Huh?
Vlad Stolyarov says not big corporations.
How about we sit down and we say, well, we did a study.
PRT1 says my son went to school with her relative and they think she is crazy.
She's crazy. I tell you what, we'll be in much better shape in the
Winston's
United
mom
States
says
when
Pence
Nancy's
just
gone.
told Fox that he is disappointed in Chief Justice Roberts. Hello, Ace Trades, and are you disappointed in Chief Justice Roberts? How's your weekend shaping up?
Yeah. So, there was this case. Hold on.
Ace Trades says Christianity, let's slaughter a guy on a pole so God can forgive people for being people. Mike Salisbury says good morning Seth, I have a question for you. Do you watch US cash market 10 years rates? Also do you keep an eye on the DV01 basis for the 10s?
Okay, so these are good questions, Mike. So I don't have any way within a Ninja Trader of watching the cash market rate. So there's like an index out there that you can get that will show you the interest rate out there for the cash market. I don't think that it's terribly important. I mean, yeah, I suppose there could be people out there looking at certain interest rate numbers and that those are significant, but you're going to see the same thing in the futures on the prices. And as we know, like past price isn't indicative of future price. So the only time that I find that sort of a thing useful is when people on the news are talking about a specific number that's they all are watching. Then maybe I pay attention to that. Now, as for the DVO1 basis, So if you go to the CME, let's go look at it. Since this is a good time to look at this. CME, let's see if I can find it. CMA Group Markets. And we want to go to interest rates. And then somewhere over here. Oh, you know what? I'm probably going to have to. Okay, so there's it's this one right here, the Treasury Analytics. I believe. Yes, there it is right there. Oh, cool. I don't even have to log in yet. Anyways, and here they will tell you, okay, for the different futures. So on the 10-year, the futures DVO1 is $140, right? So that basically tells you when the interest rate changes 0.01, that's how much the futures move. So 1 basis point is basically equal to 5 ticks in the treasuries. Huh? So, and there's a bunch of calculations you can do off of that sort of a thing. So that could be useful if it's like the Federal Reserve meeting is coming out and you think that they're going to raise interest rates, even though the market would always expect that. But if you wanted to sit down and say, okay, if they raised interest rates 25 basis points, then what would it be, right? 25 basis points. So 140, 33 times 25 basis points divided by 15.125 is 231 ticks divided by, let's see here, 64ths, right? Yeah, 64ths. So if they raise interest rates, we would move 3.6 points. So now you could set a target. You could say, I think they're going to raise interest rates, and this is where we're eventually going to get to because of it. And that's the most that I know about using DVO1. Does it change? I mean, I have no way of looking at that it changes. If you have something or you found something that charts it or something, that would be I'd be really interested to know about it.
Ace Trades says if there was a god, he would make the S&P come back to my break-even price right now.
Wait, what was your break? Oh, you don't take it on the NQ. Oh my gosh. You know what's going to happen now. You just jinxed yourself, right?
Ace Trades says at Winston's mom I am disappointed in Pence however. For a guy who looks like Johnny Quest's dad, he sure isn't very adventurous. Winston's mom says Ace Trades, we are not a family who went to church but my little sister began talking about Jesus when she began talking. It was hilarious. She said only Jesus had a bed up and her job was sweeping. Ace Trades says long on the NQ at 11,136.50. Vlad Stolyarov says there goes the short squeeze 332 SPY if recovers. Vlad Stolyarov says even if it's a bluff move bulls are loaded with extra money and bears suffer. Ace Trades says at Winston's mom lol. Winston's mom says Ace Trades, I swear when I look at his skin, he is a smoker. And the late night comedians think he's stoned. That's a stretch but I believe he could be a smoker.
Okay, so keep a heads up here, guys, because the markets are going to shake around a little bit here. Because there's some news, right? The New York Attorney General claims that
Ace
they have
Trades
important
says
news.
at Winston's mom he has a great head of hair.
And not everybody in the market is going to know about this one. It's not going to be on their calendars. I'm not seeing anybody tweet about it. And so you might see some fishy stuff here. That's what I was saying. I was leery about holding positions. Like, look, we came up, we pushed down back to 33.15, and now it's up again. Now, they didn't break the top of that range, but yeah, be careful with the NQ. It moves fast.
PRT1 says 3383S is very close.
83? Well, okay, let's worry about the high of the day first. Huh?
Winston's mom says most gay men do. That's another rumor, by the way. But he really does, and I have read that means he is lower in testosterone.
Have great hair? Really? Huh. Connell says no significant progress made on stimulus talks. That must have been on television.
Ace Trades says at Winston's mom that is an old wives' tale.
Yeah, I don't know if it.
Ace Trades says told by bald men.
Told by. Are you accusing me of something, Ace? It is scientifically proven that bald men are more attractive.
RJ Wheels says funny. Race Bannon?
Dude, have you guys seen those cartoons of Pence? Like from what's that?
PRT1 says I've burned gray since 35. Ace Trades says not at all. You are dead sexy and you know it. Ace Trades says at RJ Wheel yes. Race. Winston's mom says I like men regardless of whether they have hair or not. It's really not fair, you guys still look good minus hair.
Oh,
PRT1 says it's called kids.
There really are a lot of things about differences between gender that I don't think are fair. Because you're right, it's men can be viewed as attractive even if they're butt ugly. And if they've got the right personality or they're funny. I mean, it's the same thing for girls.
He also looks like Jeff Chandler, 50s movie star.
It can be the same way for girls, but it's not acknowledged by society the way that it is for men, right? That's not very fair. But you know what the girls have on us? Oh, wait,
Mike Salisbury says thank you for your thoughts on bases in tens. I appreciate that. During the roll, do you ever watch or trade the tens calendars or use the pace of roll tool? I know some trade this, but yes. I don't see how. RJ Wheel says Race Bannon though. That's a good one.
Well, I'm primarily just interested in if they've moved over or not. But I don't like trading around the roll. I always get screwed. So, I don't know. No, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So here's the thing that girls have on men. Girls' clothes are so much cooler. Like, think about it. As a guy, like, I can wear pants or, if I'm feeling sporty, I guess I can wear shorts. And I can wear, like, a t-shirt or some form of a collared shirt of, a little bit more dressy of a shirt. And those are basically my choices as a man, okay? But girls, they have these skirts and they got so many different styles. Or just like look at workout clothes. Like the girls, because my weightlifting team, mostly girls, and they get like they always have the newest virus leggings. They're so cool. They got these camo ones now, and I'm always so jealous. It's like, well, I want to like get some cool clothes and then post it on Instagram and everybody compliment me on how great my new clothes are. Nobody cares. Oh, look, here's this cool new shirt from Gymshark. It's a t-shirt like every other guy's t-shirt. Nobody cares. It's not fair.
Vlad Stolyarov says this day looks like FOMC meeting. Ace Trades says I have been told I look good in culottes.
What are those? Culottes?
Winston's mom says filled circle Jeff Chandler, filled circle sings. Asterisk musical note flat musical note. Asterisk. The more I see you. He was Cochise in Broken Arrow 1950, and I hero worshipped Cochise as a child and still do. Ace Trades says Google them.
Now I'm thinking here, do I want to have some sort of a stop set in? I could put it here. We're already kind of like negative, so like I need to be careful about a gadoosh and then back up. The thing is there's going to be a press conference, so whatever the the data or the news is that we're going to get out here, it might not be immediately at 9:30.
Ace Trades says got to go. Everyone have a great day.
All right, later, Ace.
PRT1 says just stopped out MES.
Hmm.
Winston's mom
Oh
says
yeah,
a
there's
major
bill
announcement
auctions
from
today too.
NY is about to happen. Happy
Yeah.
Thursdaying Ace Trade. Vlad Stolyarov says I am going to trade demo here just to kill the urge to press buttons.
Right? That's the way to do it, man. I mean, look, there's still enough movement to make good moves, right? But they've been range bound moves, and you have to know where to take your profits. Well, I've done pretty good today. Oh, we got this thing coming up though. This could be
PRT1
wild.
says smart.
We'll see. Okay, so there's 9:30. So right there at 9:30, there was a little pop of volume. Bitcoin making a new all-time high in Turkey, really? I would sell it there and arbitrage it. Sounds like an arbitrage opportunity. Well, that was 2 days ago. I did not realize.
Winston's mom says avoid the FOMO Vlad Stolyarov think a more fatty.
Okay, New York Attorney General sues National Rifle Association of America. That was it?
RJ Wheel says I'm off too. See ya tomorrow.
That was it. The short's not, I think I want to go long now. Fact? Oh, wait, can I not? I can't do it that way. That one. Okay. Okay.
Winston's mom says bye.
Bill
RJ
auction's
Wheel
coming
happy
through.
todaying.
Bill auction's coming through. Getting a little bit of a sell. I'm just kind of even though I think it's going to work out, I'm kind of noticing that the risk reward on this is a little sketchy. This red is a little closer than I thought it would be. So I'm going to try and turn it into more of a scalp. Well, I'm listening and I can hear all these sounds in the house. It sounded like a TV, but it wasn't. Sometimes the way that the house scatters the sound kind of makes it sound like a TV, though. Okay. Police say man spat on child in restaurant and said you now have coronavirus. That wasn't funny, dude. Well, not a lot of news coming in now. How you guys doing? We run out of requests now? Oh no, we still got requests. Well,
Vlad Stolyarov says only reasonable thing to do now is go long on demo. We back into wedge channel up. Vlad Stolyarov says 3313 stop.
mm-hmm.
Vlad Stolyarov says I was humming along too lol.
Sometimes I just gotta like say something to make sure that like the sound is still working or something. I don't know. I just can't handle the silence, you know? Can't handle it. Man, he is. I'm listening to my infant son. He sounds really upset. Mom is calming him down. I don't know what his deal is. Well, you know what? It's past my time. I don't know if we can really wait for this one to go through. I think that I'm just going to take right here. He'll give it to me. I do think that I could get a little bit more out of it, but I think it's time for me to go. I'll go check on him. Good day. What should we say about today? Good unemployment claims.
Vlad Stolyarov says trade it, don't date it.
But volatility continues decline. Cool. All right. Tomorrow, stay profitable, friends.
Mike Salisbury says oh god, who was the guy who used to use that? Trade it, don't date it.
I know what you're talking about.